Hey, Premier, and I am proud to introduce to you your Season 12 primary sponsor, Animal House Customs. Get your favorite iRacing League logo or anything you can dream of on any hat or patch. Animal House Customs has a stitch for every itch. And in order to scratch that itch, visit animalhousecustoms.com or you can call Animal House Customs at 985-222-8065. Once again, that's 985-222-8065.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 2 of season 13 of the Bonfire Race League. My name is Zach Panzarella, and I am here joined by my tag team partner, Mean Gene Money. And we are here excited for the second round of this awesome league. I missed you guys last week. I was over getting married, but I know Mean Gene and Buddy did an awesome job over at Kentucky, calling the action over there to get the season started. We will get those points pulled up shortly because we did have some penalties after that race and some bonus points handed out. So the points a little bit different than how they seem to have ended that race. But first things first, how you doing today, Mean Gene?
Tell you what, man, I got my magic hat on, and we're out here at a really fast Charlotte track. Charlotte came lead in the season last year. It's going to be the second race this season. The Fokum or Leave 'em 220. This ought to be exciting.
Yeah, the Fokum or Leave 'em 220. I don't know how I forgot to say that because that is quite the memorable name. I mean, all these races this year sponsored our great admin, Kevin Kyle, making sure of that, and what that comes with is awesome race names. Pulled up right now is our current point standings. We got Thomas Perrine leading the points, Brandon Shelton second, and in third is Michael Serra, fourth Stephen Neal, fifth Matt Schofield. And that is actually going to be our amateur standings. Forgot to mention, we have two different sets of standings this year, me and Gene. We have an amateur league and a pro league now.
You know, I think it's really exciting. Last year, Kevin and Jared, they put together that best of the rest tournament so you could kind of see the guy in the playoffs. And I think it's just an expansion of that. It's going to make it more exciting for the rest of the drivers. Of course, you got 12, 15 guys that you know always going to be fighting up at the front. But for the rest of the guys, it's just a kind of chance for them to, race inside the crowd. Of course, they're going to be going for the win if they're there at the end. But it's kind of nice when you're back there in, 9th, 10th, 11th, whatever. But, you're fighting for an amateur championship.
Yeah, I've been in leagues in the past that have ran this system just like this, literally identical. I loved it. And I was actually one of the amateur drivers there, me and Gene. And what I liked so much about it is you still get to share the track with the top guys. So you're still out there learning. There's so much to be learned from sharing the track with a David Medina, a Jason Landry, anyone really in those pro standings, as we'll take a look at those in just a minute. Jason Landry was able to get the win last week, winning the first race of the season over at Kentucky. A great job by him, leading 78 laps, really controlling the majority of that race. But just as interesting, me and Gene, we did not see our defending champion lead a single lap. And I don't know if that's happened at all last season anywhere that wasn't a play track.
There was a lot of activity on the track last week there at the Bucket 250. A lot of moving around. Initially, we saw Jared Kelly take the early lead. Ignition Point Racing teammate Landry later was able to take control of that race. So I think for Medina's part, he definitely got caught up in traffic, which ate up his tires to cut through there. And with the new point system, the old Winston Cup style, I don't think that there's quite the urgency for these drivers to need to win as much as it is I need to finish in the top 5. And I think that might be a theme we're going to see from some of the top drivers. David Medina right now, I think he's just highlighting that new mindset that a guy that's going to win the championship at the end of the year has to have to survive the gauntlet that's going to be this season.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. With the new points format that I'm a huge fan of, I wish every league I ran in did a Winston Cup points format. I just love it. But it does make those second place finishes so much more important than it was years previous, where really all you needed was that win at this point in the regular season that would either lock you in. It wouldn't last year with this league, but it would really give you enough bonus points to kind of be comfortable and know you'd be in the playoffs, and you'd really just have to worry about it once you got to the playoffs. This year, every race counts. You only have, I believe it's 2 drop races, to your disposal. So you really don't want to use those on a race that you race in. You want to race those, or you want to use those on the weeks that you can't make it, or if something goes wrong with maybe your equipment. You really don't want to have those ones that are on track. So yeah, those second places, that's how you end up being the champion at the end of the year. I'm sure we know that Medina is going to win his fair share of races this year. So give him a hard time about not leading a lap there. But that really is going to be the name of the game this year. But Jason Landry off to a great start as well. And who's also off to a great start is our admin on screen right here. And that is Kevin Kyle in that 31 VRN Mighty Ducks Ford Mustang. Kevin Kyle going to be one to watch this year. He has really shifted about all his focus to this next-gen car. Not really driving trucks too much anymore. Not going to find an Xfinity car anymore either. He has really wanted to put all his work into this Cup car, wanting to put down the best results possible. And there it is right there. Going to put himself third in the qualifying standings right now. Good lap there from the 31.
You know, you made mention of the 2 drop races. Going to be really important. Memorial Day weekend, of course, a lot of drivers at Charlotte in real life. David Owens, Stephen Neal, David Buell, Matt Schofield, Paul Ferdiani, a lot of guys we're not going to see here today that normally would be running. Also, Buddy Sully, one of our pro drivers, going to miss out today. But that drop race is going to help them. Speaking of points, drop races, and everything, Zach, I think it's time. We talk about the largest point penalty in the history of Bonfire Race League.
Yeah, let's get the cat all the way out of the bag, me and Gene. Last week, Jerry Rose involved in an incident. A 30-point penalty was awarded, I guess you could say, to Jerry Rose. That is the biggest point penalty in the history of this league, and that is the biggest point penalty I've ever seen in any league. It's going to be a tough hole to come out for Jerry. I mean, it's essentially like adding or taking away a drop race, me and Gene. But I do know that the team has prepared a statement. So, and you were going to have the pleasure of reading that to us.
All right, it's all folded up. This thing is handwritten too, so you're going to have to bear with me.
Oh, boy.
Here it is. Pony Up Motorsports letterhead. This statement is in regard to the incident and resulting penalty points from last week's incident at the Puckett 250 in Kentucky. We at Pony Up Motorsports disagree 100% with the process of the investigation and final determination leveled by the BRL ruling body. The 988 consistently drives in a manner which causes cars and the 51 in this situation to lose control coming out of turn 2. The 51 car never regained stability and eventually made contact with the 988. We maintain it was the actions of the 988 which initiated the contact and resulted in the end of the day for the 51 car. That's a lot of words.
Shots fired.
Well, and also, I got to talk with Jerry after the race, and he was still a little bit heated because, you know, he's down there waiting in the trailer for the 988. And basically he said, this is shorthand, he said, this guy's a sausage. He's supposed to be a pro driver, and instead he's driving like he's playing Heat 5 on a console. Look at his incident points. So, my word.
Already we're seeing the downside of the pro and amateur kind of rankings, and that is that sometimes the pro guys do have certain expectations, and the amateurs, they expect them to meet them. They're supposed to be cleaner. They're supposed to be a little bit faster. And when that doesn't happen, these type of things can happen. But nonetheless, a 30-point penalty for Rose here, and I believe, is there no qualify for him today as well, or was it just the points penalty?
It was just the points the way I read it. I don't think there's any kind of end of line or drive through. That's about how they did it here. Meanwhile, qualifying still going on the track. There's going to be a fast lap race today. You know, the Charlotte was also the rated race for so many class drivers. So everybody getting points and practicing at the same time. So I'm expecting to see a lot of fast laps here today at the Charlotte Motor Speedways here in the Fulcrum Leavum 220.
It's a really good point. This is where the majority of the series, including this one, are running their official races this week, being that this is where NASCAR is going to be racing later on today. Excited for that as well. But yeah, that normally results in less mistakes, or it should. Faster laps, because these guys have been here all week. I mean, this is Sunday. We only got one more day at this place in terms of running it as an official. So these guys have had about 6 days, I want to say, to run this track. So they should have all their practice in. And what that should mean is probably some different faces up front is what I'm expecting to see, me and Gene. Some of these guys with more opportunities to practice than I think they normally would have at a specific track. So that's really exciting. As we see the 51 and Gerald Rose also repping a new number this season, looking good with that Rick Ware Racing style number right there. So far,
Nice.
Jason Landry still keeping it on pole. We got a newcomer here, a rookie Valley over, I think it's Jaron Valley over there in second place. So that's a great accomplishment for him. Look at that, front row of an amateur and a pro right now.
Yeah, Jaron Valley, he's an associate of Animal House Customs. He's not one of their official drivers, but he is an affiliate, and he works out of that garage. So Jared Valley is a guy we're going to be watching out for. He's, of course, on that Animal House Custom team with Ricky Mandela, David Puckett, Michael Benton, missing his second race today. Edward Peltz, he missed last week at Kentucky, but he will be making his first start of the season for Animal House Custom here today. And Jared Valley, the affiliate driver. You're right, for a rookie, that guy put it up. We got a few rookies running here, actually, today. One of the rookies running today, Zach Clausen. I'll tell you what, Zach, this guy is probably one of the most talked about rookies we've had come in a while. The chatter has been loud and constant coming out of Gulf Coast Racing. Apparently, they got a history with this guy. And so he's gotten some dirty notes, maybe even a noose hanging in his garage at Talladega waiting for Zach Clausen down the road.
Well, I did not know that. That's exciting, though. It's always fun to have kind of old feelings reside in these leagues. But our qualifying results are in, and Jason Landry, last week's winner, picking up where he left off, able to hold on to that pole position. He'll be starting up front alongside the rookie and the amateur driver, Jaron Valley. Third place, our admin, Kevin Kyle. Fourth place, Gerald Rose's favorite driver, Kyle Lynott. Fifth place, Brandon Shelton. Sixth place belonging to Nick Mills. Seventh, Chris Smorrell. Eighth, Ricky Mandela. Ninth, Jack Stovall. And rounding out the top 10 is Mark DeMont.
Hey, 11th place, still not leading any laps, going to be David Medina Sr. Behind him, you got Michael Serra starting up on the 6th row. Joe Volpe is going to start 13th. Right next to him is going to be Jared Kelly in 14th. David Brenner going to start 15th. Outside of him, privateer and rookie Joseph Yanikis is going to start in 16th. Jose Medina going to be 17th. Zach Engel, 18th. The 10th row, Richard Swingle starting in 19th position. And Tommy Fox going to round out the top 10 rows in 20th.
21st, belonging to Justin Malarkey, making his return to the league. 22nd, David Buell. Gerald Rose in 23rd. Dennis Puckett in 24th. Jake Ashay in 25th. Spent all offseason working on that name. Tim Darby is 26th, and then these cars right here did not put in a time, and that's going to be Thomas Pierres, Edward Peltz, and Zach Clausen, rounding out a 29-car field. So even with a few of our guys over at actual Charlotte right now not able to make this track, not able to make this race, still a really sizable field. Gotta love it. Week in, week out, Bonfire Race League, putting together some of the best fields you'll see.
You know, a lot of people say it might be a little bit early to get up in the morning, but let's face it, you get up on a Sunday and the family's still asleep. You're halfway through this thing before the day is even out. Just a great time to run a race, especially during the season. Get this thing in the books, and then you can sit back and enjoy whatever race that they're going to have over on NASCAR at the same time. Looks like they're rolling around. This race, of course, the Fulcrum 220 brought to you by the good fellas over at Animal House Customs. Animal House Customs, they can handle all of your embroidery needs. You got hats made, you want shirts made, these guys can do it. Hey, let's say you run a motorsports club or a motorcycle gang. Heck, they can even make one for you, can't they, Michael Benton? Also, this race brought to you by the Swanley Golf Association. Thanks to the boys across the pond over there, the good men and women who like playing the links. Thank you so much for your support here today.
Yes, we picked up some extra sponsors for this season, and like we said, every race this season sponsored as well, so we'll see some new faces. I know Daily Drivers Inc. has a race this season, but we are getting ready for showtime here at Charlotte Raceway. Again, that's Jason Landry in the 56, last week's winner, one of our heavy hitters in this league, picking up where he left up on the pole. And get ready for some fast and intense racing here at Charlotte. Pace car has pulled off. Jason Landry is going to lead them to green as we get ready to hit the Geico restart zone, and we are in it. And blast off goes Landry. We are green at Charlotte.
Tell you what, Landry's out of there like a rocket. Look at it. Single in the front, double behind him. He's already got a 3-car lead. Landry winning last week. Would love to make it happen again. He's going to lead the pack coming out of 2 down to the backstretch.
A fantastic start by Jason Landry, especially for the race start where the flagman has control and not the leader. So Jason Landry doing what he has to do right there to control this race. It's going to be so important to be able to stay in that clean air and protect those tires here at Charlotte. This track is so tempting to go hard on the tires early in the run, but if you do it, you are 1,000% going to pay for it later, so you've got to be patient here. We've got a car in the wall towards the back of the field here. Looks like they're going to keep it green here. No one around quite yet, as already, look at this Valley, look at the outside of Landry for the lead.
Yeah, hard racing up front Valley. He wants a piece of this. He might be a rookie in this league, but he's not a rookie in this car. And there he is, makes the pass on the outside. Great move by Valley. He's now going to be your leader, bringing him around into the turn, and he's pulling away from last week's winner, Jason Landry.
What a move by Jaron Valley, using the top to take the lead. Not the desirable line in terms of tire wear, and then immediately gets to the bottom and just sticks it there like a slog car. Great job. Textbook pass by Jaron Valley in textbook way to get back to the line. That's going to protect those tires. He's doing a great job. Behind them, it's just pure mayhem. We got 3 wide, we got 2 wide, we got side by side for about 5 rows. These guys are absolutely going for it here in the early stages at Charlotte.
Yeah, side-by-side racing now deep in the pack. If you look a little bit back further than that, after Swingle and Malarkey, that's where that checkup occurred. And then it's just a madhouse back there as well. So you got like 3 different beehives all in the same group doing battle. Up front, though, it's still Valley. How about this rookie? Nobody's even heard of this guy except for Animal House Customs, but now it's his time to shine. This race and this lap led by Animal House Customs, affiliate driver, but still, he's in their Discord, Zach.
Yeah, and that does not hurt to have an extra set. As oh my goodness, we are 3 wide going through 3 and 4. It is just unbelievably intense back there, me and Gene. As cars are now starting to kind of graze the wall on the exit of 4, it really does get tight there on the exit of 4. 1 and 2 is not like 3 and 4 here at Charlotte. Very different corners, and you need to keep that top of mind as you get around this racetrack. But man, this is going all good for Jaron Valley right now. He's got to be stoked. His rookie season, he's already putting down laps led. That is such a big accomplishment and nothing to be sneezed at. Good job by Jaron Valley.
Yeah, remember the Winston Cup point style, so you do want to lead a lap and have that opportunity to book those extra 5 points onto your and your team's final standings. I'll tell you, though, he's not going to get away from this pack. He might have a nice little 7-car lead, but look at the people that are chasing him down. Jason Landry, Nick Mills, Kevin Kyle. Those are pros. Behind them, 5th place, Jax Duval. Jack's an amateur, but I think once we get to that reset of pros and amateurs, he might be one of the guys that's going to get bumped up. I got a little insight on that as well, Zach. They're thinking maybe a Brandon Shelton, a Jax Duval, maybe even a Thomas Pierce after what he did last week. If these guys keep firing off at the gate, those are 3 of the early guys we're looking at might get bumped up to that pro class.
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit surprising to see Jax Duval in the amateur class at all. This is a defending MRL, not a defending, I'm sorry, a former MRL champion. This is somebody who's won several races in both these leagues. So Jax Duval, someone that can win these races all together, win the overall. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see him making that jump up to pros sooner rather than later. Same goes for their 2 guys you mentioned, very, very fast drivers. We'll have to keep our eye on them week in, week out, and see what Kevin Kyle decides to do. I think it wouldn't be surprising to see happen mid-season. But look at this dude, Duval, making a pass on Kevin Kyle. That's not going to make Kevin Kyle want him in the amateur league for much longer either. What a move by Duval as he moves to 4th place. Duval doing a great job working his way through this field, and these are the guys I want to keep my eye on as this run goes on. If we're able to stay green, I want to see if these tires come back around and if they are able to hold this track position or if they're going to pay for what they're doing right now.
Tell you what, another guy I'm looking at right now is the number 14 of Mark Dumont, who had such a good run last week at Kentucky. We saw him up in the front periodically, still in the top 10, currently being shown in the 8th place. And it's finally happened. The Canadians hooking up in a Discord. Mark Dumont is in there with Thomas Pierce. So that Canadian connection finally coming together. Mark Dumont currently being shown in 9th place.
We knew it was only a matter of time until those Canadians joined up to form a Super Canada team. So not surprising there, and good for them. It's only going to help to add more people to that Discord and work with more people through these fields. As you also see, a few cars, I think, starting to really try to settle in here. I think I'm looking at the 31 of Kevin Kyle. It looks like he's really trying to settle in, hug that bottom, protect those tires, and see how long he can last and make that 31 as fast as it needs to be to get to the field. Same goes for Jason Landry. We saw him grab the lead, grab the pole early in this race, lose it to Valley, but now he is all the way to losing 5th place right now. So Landry going the wrong way is that 56.
Well, I think the thing we really got to look at is Smorl is going the right way. Chris Smorl, who's in that number 5 Ford right ahead of him, that fella just cut through the field like a maniac, and he is up 3 spots. I shouldn't say like a maniac. I should say like a bat out of hell, because he's running clean laps. He's just so fast. I say that as he gets right in the left rear of the ball there. But Smorl made some great moves to move himself up. Meanwhile, behind him, you can see just how deep that field is, side by side racing. As you said, Zach, so many cars making the start here today. Hell of a good field for the Pocomer leaving 220.
Yeah, really, really exciting field to have this many cars here this Sunday morning. Like you said, just look at the whole day ahead of you after this race. Brandon Sheldon also repping a gorgeous new paint scheme in that number 5 car, looking good today. But yeah, he's doing a great job working his way through this field, working on Jack Staval right now. Excuse me, seeing if he can get past him for a podium position. And yeah, right now I'm also seeing a handful of these amateur drivers doing a fantastic job. 4 of them, I'm sorry, 5 of them, making up half of the top 10 right now are amateur drivers. And also being to join the party here, there he is on screen, our defending champion, David Medina. He is now in the top 10. He didn't start there, but he's quickly working through this field.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to have to take off everybody in the production truck team's shoes to start counting the laps that it has been since David Medina has been in the front. David Medina continuing to accumulate points in a nice, safe manner. But if you look where he is, he's stuck right in the hornet's nest. He's got Kevin Kyle in front of him. He's got Mark Dumont behind him. Luckily, he's on the inside. And you're right. You mentioned saving tires on that inside lane. That's a huge thing I think we're going to see. I saw a lot of the Focum guys making that outside middle lane work a little bit later in the run. But early on, I think we're going to see people hugging, trying to save tires. And then after about 25 to 30 laps or so on these tires, I think we might even see guys start to downshift coming out of 3 and 4.
Yeah, these next gens have 5 gears as opposed to all the other NASCAR that we're used to driving that have 4. And you really can use that 4th gear to your advantage as those tires wear. What I like to do is downshift on corner entry and use it to turn the car, use the engine braking to turn the car left. Really, really is helpful for me. I also like being higher up on those RPMs later in the run to, again, help the car turn, use the throttle to turn the car. So I would not be surprised to start seeing some guys downshift into 4th as these tires start to wear more, and they're trying to figure that out. 145 laps around this track here today, a longer race, kind of reflecting the Coke 600 that we're going to have later on today. And that race is a very long length, so you got to be patient here. You got to use those tires sparingly. You still want to have that set at the end just in case something is to go wrong. So you want to get the full, I think, what is it, be about 40 laps out of these tires each run.
Yeah, I think
in the wall goes 47.
Just touched it. He just touched it. It's okay. Wow, he looked like little Ross Chastain action.
A little bit of a Chastain there, I was about to say.
Well, or Christopher Bell. Yeah, I think Bell did it better, or at least the car at the end of the wreck, the wall ride. Bell's car looked better. All right, so still look how close all these guys are remaining here. It's starting to spread out a little bit, but you still have groups of 10 cars all together. You can see Lynott right there ahead of Dumont outside of that row. You can see really good run there by Sarah. Sarah's showing a little bit better speed this year. That's that number 27. Hubba Bubba, no, Double Bubble. There we go. Double Bubble right there. You can see also Kevin Kyle right in front of him. So Sarah's showing some really good speed so far last week as well as this week, currently being shown in the 11th position.
That's some gross ass gum, Mean Gene.
No, it doesn't come with a bubble. It doesn't come with a baseball card. No.
No, it does not. Don't love that gum, but he's driving a lot better than that gum tastes right now. He's doing a great job, is Sarah. Yeah, we saw him really start to improve towards the end of last year, and he's brought that same speed to start this year. Really cool to see. I mean, it's always just so fun to see the improvement of so many guys in this league and watch them develop as drivers, and there's so much of it going on right now. Up front, too, we have Landry, it looks like, coming back through the field, trying to get those positions back. Looking on the inside here at Jacques Staval, maybe already here on lap 20, those tires coming back, but look at that. Trying to use the inside, losing his momentum, and he might lose. Yeah, he's going to lose a spot to Smorl here. As it looks like Smorl's going to try to use the outside to make that work. Graze the wall. Oh, good hit there. And behind them, watching this whole thing unfold, is David Medina.
And here it is. This is what we're talking about, is starting to wear out those tires. We're on lap 21. and that's definitely going to see some fall off lap speeds. Jax Duvall still hitting his marks in third place. Behind him, though, look at that. You can see Landry, Smorl, and Medina all making steam. Meanwhile, up in the front, look who has caught up to the rookie, Nick Mills. He is a former champion here in the Bonfire Race League. Missed him last year, but he's back so far, and now he is definitely back. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear, and look how high Valley is choosing to run. He's finding the speed late in the run by taking it up on that high line. I saw Fokum do it, and now it looks like Animal lost that same memo.
And then there goes Mills trying to dive to the inside to make the pass on Valley. Valley trying to use that top to keep the momentum. Looks like it's going to work this time, but it should not be long until Mills can complete this pass. Mills caught Valley in such a hurry, Mean Gene. He was about a second behind him, and there he goes on the inside. Nick Mills to the lead. Like you said, ran. Oh, and a slide job, too, as he goes to the bottom. Look at that. Valley with a little crossover move. He's not over. It's not over yet. He wants that spot back.
Yep, going to fight hard for it. And why not? You're up in the front. Why not make it difficult? Nick Mills, though, now it's Nick's turn to use the outside. A little bit more momentum. And now it's Valley getting a dirty air as he is going to bring him into lap number 3. And there it is, Nick Mills holding the inside, but look at the outside momentum again.
He's going to try it again, and this time it doesn't look like he's going to have the run as behind them. Jason Landry, wow, look at Nick Mills just being pushed down the backstretch by Valley. Valley not electing to go for the inside move that time. I mean, a great job by Mills to kind of just cut it off and not even make it possible. But yeah, we saw Nick very part-time last year, but when he was here, he was competitive. Like you said, a former champion of this league. Excited to see him back full-time this year and see what he's able to make happen. As behind them, things are getting crazy. As you see Medina looking the inside of Duvall. Medina doing a great job still working through this field. He is now up to the top 5, following Jason Landry, who, while falling back to the top 5, is now starting to work his way back to the field. I'm going to call it now, Mejan. I think these guys will be up to Mills and Valley in no time. These two specifically.
We'll have to see if they can continue the single file racing. I agree with you. Meanwhile, Duvall touches the wall. That's going to let Clear Smorl draw side by side with him. The 5 looks like he's going to make that pass. That's that second group we're looking at, where Landry in third, Medina on the outside in fourth, Smorl on the inside, fades up in front of Jax Duvall. That's 5th and 6th. Brandon Shelton running 7th. Ricky Mandela Sr. in 8th. Kyle Lynott in 9th. And then Kelly and Kyle in a good battle with Jose Medina behind them to round out the top 10.
Yeah, we got a pro Medina and we got an amateur Medina now, which it's nice. It makes it a little bit less complicated in that way. But Jose Medina doing a great job right now, running in 12th place as well, and especially dealing with that hornet's nest that he's in, battling with Jared Kelly and Kevin Kyle right there. Some pretty intense racing for the 10th place. Kevin Kyle, starting in 3rd place, has kind of been falling down this field, Mejan. He's kind of been one of those guys going the wrong way. Kevin Kyle down to 12th place now. We'll have to see as this run goes on if he's able to start making some forward progress soon. And there it is, just like I predicted. Medina and Landry, which Medina has also passed Landry, but they have also caught Jaron Valley.
Oh, that group is all together now. Nick Mills, he's free of the mess. But there it is, Valley, behind him, Medina. Landry, Smorl, Duvall, they are all starting to pack it up again. You know, to go back just a little bit, Zach, we were talking about cars and their position. Think about it. This field is so fast. You're talking about 9th place, Kyle Lynott. He was a Final Four driver last year. 10th place, Jared Kelly. The guy wins races. Medina, Zach Engel, Kevin Kyle, Justin Malarkey. I mean, that's just in the top 15. That's 9th through 15th. Big names who have won big races, and those guys are running down in the 10th to 15th spot. It is smoking hot here today at the Fokumer Leaving 220.
Yeah, it really is a whole different story than last season in terms of where we're seeing people in the field right now and just how much parity this league is starting to show. I mean, we saw it as early as qualifying. We saw Medina qualify outside the top 10, as well as Jared Kelly, Brenner, a lot of guys that we saw winning races, running up front last year did not qualify in the top 10. A few of them have been able to work their way through the field, and other ones not so well. Oh, man!
No!
Oh, my God!
Got him!
Jared, oh! The 3.
And more got him.
Oh, Mandela and Jared. Oh, man, welcome to the BRL. Jaron Kelly. Brutal.
I think we saw what happened right there. Looks like Landry and Valley were running with each other. All of a sudden, either Valley came down, Landry trucked up, not sure. Could just be a racing incident as well. Contact made, slamming Valley down into the infield wall. Comes back up, and then here comes Rookie of the Year Mandela from last year. And there's no fast repairs here today, Zach.
No, there's not. That's the first thing I thought when I saw that car wall up the wall. That was a massive hit, and that's going to be a day ender for Valley, which is just such a shame. That car was showing so much speed here in the early stages, leading laps, and not going to have anything to show for it. Luckily, a last place finish. So brutal, as it looks like everyone's going to bring down the pits now. Nick Mills is going to lead them. Yeah, like we said, Landry, the other car involved in that accident, I don't think he has any damage. If he does, it would be minor on the front end. So maybe if you see him lose a handful of positions here, that would mean that he took a little bit of damage and wanted to fix it now. So we'll keep our eye on that. Also heard some discussions on the radio between the two. I'm sure a miscommunication, a not clear situation, but probably not making that car up Jaron Valley feel any better right now.
There's a little bit of gamesmanship going on. Jose Medina choosing to stay out on the track. He's on old tires, of course.
Well,
everybody on those 31 lap old tires, but Medina going to keep it out there to get those 5 points for he and his team. So Pony Up Motorsports driver Jose Medina, he's got his fingers crossed for a caution to come out real quick, or we're going to see that guy fall faster than something up in the air. I couldn't think of a good one. I couldn't think of anything PG, Zach. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I hate when that happens to me, when I'm like, all the analogies that come to my mind, I'm like, well, I can't say that.
No, I can't. No.
But yeah, Jose Medina, I mean, he's going to hope that he's not the caution, too, with those 30-plus lap old tires, and it's going to be hard not to be the caution for Jose Medina. But, hey, lead some laps, get those bonus points, and hope you don't die. That's about all the advice I can give there.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. If Nick Mills right behind him, I'm like, please start on the outside and just get out of my way, please.
Yeah, when they told him about the tires, he folked them and he left them. He didn't want them.
No, you don't want to be a part of that hot mess. Still, though, good gamesmanship. We'll just have to find out if it turned out to be a good or bad decision. But anytime you can smack 5 points onto your total, that's a good part.
Ooh, he's going to be outside.
Yeah, he had to get out of the way, because if he's on the inside and he starts plowing up the track, that's just going to cause all kinds of foolishness. So smart move right there. That shows that Medina not going to block the field. That was just for points, and he's just praying that caution's going to come out fast enough so that he can get some tires on this thing and get back into the pace speed.
That's a fair assumption to make. We saw how intense the early stages of that first run was, and that was the first run of the race where people are supposed to be on the calmer side. So he's not wrong to assume that there could be a high possibility for a caution here, also with that field size. But yeah, starting the outside there with the line selection, so I do think you're totally right. You're going to see him probably make it a 3-wide situation in terms of letting everyone grade 2 lanes below him so he doesn't hold anyone up too bad. Another thing to watch out for here, me and Gene, is going to be the tire spin. 30-plus laps on those things. It's going to be hard to get those tires going quickly. Let's hope he doesn't pull a Cletus McFarlane here.
Oh, I love spinning my tires on a restart. The other fun place to spin your tires is coming out of the pits, because Charlotte has those strange bumps that no one seems to be able to flatten out when you come out of the pits, and that thing will spin a car really fast.
Yeah, it's amazing about that bump. It's like it would be so easy to fix that, but they just insist on having that there for fun. Pace car is off the track as Jose Medina is going to lead this field to green. 30-lap old tires. On the inside of him will be Nick Mills with fresh tires. Medina brings them up really, really high in the restart zone. Interesting angle by Medina. Totally legal, though, and blast off he goes. Huge run by the 54. He might even be able to lead another lap out here. We'll see how quickly these cars behind him absolutely blows doors off with those fresh tires.
Oh, yeah, and look at Mills coming on the inside. You can already see the disadvantage of the tires that Medina has going down the back stretch into 3. Mills looks down, going to make quick work of Medina, and that's going to end the front running of Jose Medina.
It was fun while it lasted for Jose Medina, so now it's about stopping the bleeding.
He called his friends. That's why you do still photos and not video.
Exactly. But yeah, let's see how well he can hold on to that track position. He was running about 12th place before he made this decision, so I think it's going to be hard to even stay that well up the field, but it's all going to be about when that caution comes out, or when and if. Here we are, lap 35 here at Charlotte, picking these things off, me and Gene, but we still got more than 100 to go.
Yeah, plenty of laps left here. Also going the wrong way. Looks like Kevin Kyle out there in the 31. I'm not sure if he spun the tires or what happened, but Kevin's starting to fade back a little bit as well on the outside of a large group. And you can see that gap that is actually formed for those drivers as they are trying to figure that out. But you know what? Let's not worry about that. Let's just keep the camera on Jose Medina.
Yeah, because that is, man, Jose Medina, he's doing a good job of staying out of the way here. Not really creating any trouble so far. But yeah, you can see how off the pace that 54 is with those old tires. And I can't imagine he has too much gas or desire to run those tires for much longer. So he's really going to want that caution soon. Not want to go a lap down, but there is the 31 of Kevin Kyle. He is going the wrong way again here. Kevin Kyle, after such a good qualifying effort, just has not been able to find the speed here on track with cars around him. We'll see if he's able to figure that out. Still a lot of racing left.
Now I'm wondering, though, Kevin also purposely, he's choosing to do this, running up on that high line. So I'm wondering if he's just seeing if he can roll this thing around. Maybe it's an experiment to save tires. So many laps going to be run here today. You've seen it again. You can see Tommy Fox behind him, forcing him up into that top lane. But even when that gap appeared, Kevin seemed content. In fact, determined to run that top line. We'll just have to monitor that and see if this is an experiment by the Fokum group.
Yeah, I totally agree. We saw him very committed to the bottom in the first run. That also didn't work out for him very well, losing a handful of positions doing that. So yeah, maybe wanting to try at the top. Like I said, still early, so still time to learn and adjust. And we'll see what he adjusts to as this run goes on. Up front.
Ooh, a Shea in the wall.
Ooh. Oh yeah, he is. A Shea into the wall with a pretty healthy hit. And these guys are going for it. Here goes Medina on the outside of Mills, and the cream has officially risen to the top. It is looking like something that's very green up top. I mean, my analogies are not ready today either. Mm-hmm. But look at that leaderboard, all green in the top 5.
Is it 7? Will Medina lead his first lap? Can we see it? He does. It's his first lap of the season.
God, you gotta love when an underdog wins. Gotta love when an underdog gets his way.
Gold star for Medina.
Oh, that's so cool to see a young, just new driver like Medina get that lap led. Go for the 9.
Last year's defending champion, 3-time Bonfire Premier Cup Series champion, now up into the front where he is accustomed to running. Behind him, Nick Mills, Fokum teammate Chris Smorrell now moving into second. Behind them, Landry, Gulf Coast driver Kyle Lynott into 5th. Jared Kelly into 6th. Shelton, Duval, Angle, Malarkey. That is your top 10.
Got to go all the way back to 7th place to find an amateur driver right now. Shelton currently winning that race. He would be the amateur winner for today. And oh my goodness, that was a close call to a repeat of deja vu there. Nick Mills and Jason Landry. That looked almost identical to what happened with Valley. That was super close.
Oh, yeah. The only future we do not know is the history that we have forgotten. The drivers forget quick here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
You got to be a goldfish. You really do. Especially when you have an incident like that. You got to forget it and move on. As back to the lead goes Smorrell. Not back to the lead. I'm sorry. To the lead goes Smorrell. Patience has paid off for that 5 car. He's been there all day so far, running that top 5. And then he chose the right time to strike. And to the lead goes Smorrell. And following the 2nd place goes Nick Mills.
Mills, he got so close to Medina getting pulled into that draft and then chose to go to the outside. That's a hard place to pass. And you can see Medina's going to hold him off side by side. Mills on the outside, Medina on the inside, battling momentum. Going to carry Mills up into the 2nd place position. And Lynott now moved into 4th. Behind him, Landry. And it's Jared Kelly getting past Zach Engel to move into the 6th. Ignition Point Motorsports now making moves.
Yeah, look at this. Kelly making its way through the field. He also started outside the top 10, and he is doing a great job now, about to be in the top 5. And Landry and Lynott and Medina, that is an intense battle we have going on right now. You saw Lynott stick his nose in 3 and 4 there, not able to complete the pass. It's so hard, it seems, to keep the momentum out of 4 if you're glued to the bottom there.
Well, he's trying a maneuver that works for a lot of guys. You get behind people and you get right under them and it gets the car loose. But you're talking about a David Medina. That guy's not going to get loose. He's going to feather that throttle and power through. And you can see right there, single file racing for your top 5. And then Kelly and Zach Engel trying to make the outside work. And there's Thomas Pierce again moving up into the top 10. Malarkey behind him, and Jax Duvall has fallen back into the 11th position. Speaking of falling back, look at Jose Medina now, all the way back into 26th place. He is being shown as the last car on the lead lap. And boy, oh boy, does he have some time to make up. Already 9 seconds, 10 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for Jose Medina. He's going to want to bring down that 54 for a fresh set tires sooner rather than later. If this race stays green, he's going to go a lap down regardless. So you want to stop the bleeding. Because here we are 3 wide with Duvall, Pierre's, and the 11 right there. Oh my goodness, the 11. That is a weird car to see not be David Owens, but that is Joe Volpes this season, switching numbers, taking over the 11 car and putting a FedEx paint scheme on it. Mean Gene.
Well, Volpes, he's going to go around both those drivers with that move. Going to go into the top 10 behind him. Duvall and Pierce still have some unfinished business as they are racing side by side. Speaking of side by side behind them, Mark Dumont, Michael Serra. Serra finally gives it up. Dumont going to move ahead of him. Thomas Pierce and Jax Duvall, they'll maintain that conversation. And look at Dumont using the outside lane. Side by side back there for 12th and 13th.
Then up front, we got a new leader of our AM race, and that's Zach Engel, and he actually just made a pass on Jason Landry straight up, and he's up to 6th place right there behind Lynott, and it looks like he's going to go for another pass here, and Jared Kelly, amazing job so far by the 47 of Zach Engel, doing what he needs to do to take home that trophy for the amateur win. That would be a big accomplishment for that driver, and he has been showing so much raw speed over the past couple months.
Yeah, Zach, we've seen him win over in our sister league, the Moonlight Race League, before. Zach Engel, no stranger to victory lane or podium finishes. But here in the Bonfire League, big fields and big drivers, big teams, big names. Very difficult sometimes to make those moves. Making the moves. Look at Mills on the outside of Smorrell, side by side. And look at Medina. He's definitely
right
going to wait for one buddy to blink so he can get on by. Behind him, Lynott ready to pounce, and then the Ignition Point boys, Batman and Robin. It's Kelly and Landry ready in that catbird seat.
And right in front of them is the other Medina, Mean Gene. He is barely in front of them, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And like we said, he is so off the pace with those older tires. They're going to be to him in no time, probably within a lap. I think this is when, if you're that 54, it's time to bring it down. I don't think you want to go down a lap this way and have to stay up top for that long. Let's see if the 54 brings it down this time. I absolutely would if I was Jose. He's not going to. Let's see if he can keep these leaders behind him. But Nick Mills to the lead, taking that away from Smorrell. So Nick Mills looking right now, Mean Gene, like the car to beat is that 20. He has a ton of speed, and it doesn't go away as the run goes on.
Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Nick Mills, he's been gone for a while, and he's back in the lead. Behind him, Folcom driver Chris Smorrell looking strong here at Charlotte. Teammate David Medina behind him. Jared Kelly battling with Lynott. Kelly on the outside, trying to get by the Gulf Coast driver. He's going to get a little bitty push from his teammate Landry. Kelly looks down low, holds his line, and there he goes. And he's going to bring his teammate with him. Lynott trying to make that inside work. Zach Engel peeking outside now. Lynott just got ate up by 2-3 cars. But remember, it's Winston Cup points. You don't need to win a championship on lap 52.
Kyle Lynott just opened the door for one person, and 3 others said thank you very much and walked on through. Kyle Lynott, I don't think he thought he was going to lose 3 positions there, but he did. Zach Engel coming in the last second. He's ripping that top better than anyone else on the track right now is that 47. He's going all the way to the wall, about a paper's thickness off of it a few times, and it's been just fantastic to watch. There it is right there. He's kind of making like a little mini diamond out of this racetrack, doing a great job and keeping control of that amateur lead right now. Shelton only 2 spots behind him with Lynott right in the middle of them. And then right up front, these 3 have been the class of the field. Mills, Medina, and Smorrell starting to gap the cars behind them by about a second.
All right, so they're about 18 laps onto the run on these tires. I just got a little update talking to the Pony Up Motorsports crew. Those tires came off on lap 31, and they had 85% wear on that front right. So everybody should still be really close, about, maybe even 90% on right fronts right now. So I would expect to see still good speeds out of these cars here today on lap number 54.
Yeah, 85, not terrible for 31 laps of this track. Certainly manageable. I mean, sometimes the number is nothing more than that, a number, and the car feels like it's somewhere around 20, right? But with the way these guys were driving and how aggressive they were still willing to be later in that run, it looked like everyone was still pretty comfortable with their race cars, especially the ones up front. But we are really starting to see some comers and goers, guys who burn their stuff up early. We're starting to really fall through the field. So that is what we're going to have to keep our eye on and see who learned in that first run is not going to let that happen again. And who's going to have it more this time and be able to make some forward progress as opposed to something like we saw like happen with Kevin Kyle. So that'll be interesting to see. As we see, I do see a car coming out of the pits there. I believe that's probably Jose Medina, is my guess. Oh, it's not. It's not. That's the 77. That's Jake Shea right there.
Remember, Jake Shea, he hit the wall earlier on in that first green flag run. Definitely took damage. And so kind of just playing nursemaid to that 77 as we speak right now. Though, look at this in-car cam we have from Jared Kelly looking at his teammate Landry ahead of him. We're starting to see a couple of gaps being formed now between different parts of the field. Of course, you see up front, you got Nick Mills, David Medina, and Smorl in their group. Tight little gap afterwards, and then you can see the next 9 cars back to Duval. Then there's Lynott running on his own in that 10th spot. Behind him, Volpus is going to lead himself a little nest of Hornets as they charge up. Then there's a gap back to the Gulf Coast car of David Brenner. Brenner currently in 16th with Tommy Fox behind him. Shea, the lapped car, and then you can see the rest of the field start to spread out.
Yeah, it really is just like separate groups of, I mean, I like the word Hornets because the racing amongst these groups is pretty intense. I mean, you see Jared Kelly, Landry, and Zach Engel just absolutely going for it in that little group right there. Still doing a great job as Zach Engel maintaining that amateur lead right there. But Shelton, he is there. If he slips up for 1 second, Shelton will be there to take that lead. But those guys doing what they have to and racing around the pros and learning a lot and also getting that confidence. I mean, this will just fill you with so much confidence to know that you can hang with these guys deep in a run. And a track like this especially, Mean Gene, Charlotte is no joke, especially on these longer runs. It can get very, very difficult out here. So hats off to our amateur drivers putting on a show. But we are at that point in the run as well where we're starting to really see some separation for our leaders. Even third place of Smorl starting to lose ground considerably to the top 2 of Mills and Medina.
The guys that came out of the pits, though, look at the lap times they're turning. Thomas Pierce, he just came out of the pits on lap 53. He turned a 29.92. That was the fastest lap of any car that last time. How fast are the leaders going, you might wonder? Mills just ran a 30.67, which of course is about 0.7 of a second off of his fastest lap. All the top 10 cars still sub 31, right in that 30.8 mark. So still good speed out of these cars. Lap 61. That's about 28 laps they've run on these tires, coming up to that same point we saw on that first caution.
Yep, and this is going to slow them down. Here they are, side by side. Nick Mills, David Medina, the defending champion, hoping to lead a few more laps here. Medina has been very patient following around Mills, and that's what's kind of giving them that space and this room to operate without not having to worry about losing that spot to Smorl too much yet. We just want to complete that pass as quick as he possibly can and get that 20 behind him. That is easier said than done. Whenever someone seems that they have something for Nick Mills, he just does a great job wrapping that top and keeping that momentum.
Yeah, he's got to feel good, though, knowing that it's his teammate behind him. David Medina has Chris Smorl coming up on them. If anybody's going to get a little bump, a little push, a little help, definitely think that the teammates would help each other rather than Mills. Mills, of course, a privateer running out there by himself, but right now he's side by side. This is some amazing. What, about 5 laps up front like this?
Yeah, this is great stuff, giving each other plenty of room, and I think that's also what's helping them both carry the momentum so well and keep Smorl behind him and continue to put that gap in the field behind them. But there he goes. Looks like Nick Mills is gonna continue to lead this race. Oh, nice little dive in there by Medina, but he's coming up the track just a little bit, and a good squeeze by Mills in the 20. Oh man, so close to the wall. Hey, yep, it looks like I think he had to check up there and exit. Me and Gene looked like he was head straight to that outside wall.
Yeah, he touched it just a little bit. That lets Medina get clear. Mills back on the pace now, trying to find that momentum of the outside lane side by side with Christopher Smorl. Tell you what, all this has done, that's let Jared Jason Landry get back into this fight. Landry actually running a little bit quicker than the 3 cars ahead of him. He's made a slight gap over his teammate Kelly. Kelly leading that group of 4 there. Shelton, Malarkey, Jax Duval, that is your top 8. Angle trying to catch up. And then now behind them, you can see Kyle Lynott has fallen into the grasp of that second group of drivers. Lap driver Jake O'Shea on new tires and making quick work of that second group.
And this is just about every week in, week out, excuse me, where you start to see Malarkey show his face in that 73 race car. He really just seems to use the first half of these races to figure it out, keep the car clean, and figure out what lines he wants to take on the long runs. And then right around the halfway point, or even before it, he always seems to show his face. And here he is. And I'm sure this is not a good sign for the rest of the pro drivers to see that 73 working his way up front.
Yeah, Malarkey caught up in an accident last week, took him out. He was having a great day. Today, things different so far for the 73. The pro driver, Justin Malarkey, making his way through the crowd, currently up 14 spots into that 7th position.
I'm going to look to the outside of Shelton here. Got a nice little bump from Jax Duval on corner entry there that gave him a good run on the outside. He's going to try to use that to pass the amateur leader right now of Shelton. Shelton was able to get past Zach Engel and take that amateur lead, so right now he'd be in position to win that race, take that trophy. So he needs to prioritize this right here with the 73. While it's nice to keep that car behind you, you are winning your race, so you can't forget that.
It is about accumulating points, not so much beating the guy next to you on the field, but nobody can resist. As soon as you can see another tire well coming up next to you, you're going to drop the hammer just a little bit harder to try to make that win.
Yeah, these guys are race car drivers at the end of the day, and they do race car driver things. If you put something in front of them, they're not going to be able to say no to it. It's very, very true, me and Gene. This field, though, man, it's getting intense here, and the corner exits are where I'm really starting to perk up a little bit. They're getting tight on corner exit, getting close to that wall, and if they're side by side like Duval and Shelton are right now, it's getting sketchy. So keep your eye on that. These guys, not a ton of give and take right now, and they're really going for it. Looks like the sun also might be going down a little bit too, so this race, or this track, about to cool off a little bit, I'm sure, and provide even more grip for these guys to race each other.
We're going to appreciate that here. Lap 69 right now, 38 laps into this run on these tires. They're going to take any advantage they can get, and that shade on the track will definitely help. I love looking at the scoreboard right now, seeing the 6 pro drivers making battle, and then behind them, and so close on the track, Duval, Shelton, Engel, and now Sarah trying to come up into that picture as well. So that group of pros and that group of amateurs having their own little battle, and they are tight.
It really is a cool thing when you see the pros. Oh man, as Kelly and Duval get into each other mid-corner and again and again. These guys are just, oh man, using each other up through 1 and 2 there, and I doubt it's over. Duval has really been aggressive on this run, me and Gene. I've been seeing his corner entries especially just ultra aggressive. As he's gonna, oh my god, you can't fit anything between him and the 55 there, and touch again. More contact between Duval and the 55 as it looks like he's gonna try to get by Jared Kelly. Jared Kelly trying to put the squeeze on him, and Shelton saying, figure it out, boys, and don't take me with you.
Well, Brandon Shelton looking at that outside lane. Duval ran very well last week at Kentucky. Not a surprise to see Florida man up in the front. Of course, his day ended when he rear-ended David Owens. He and Puckett were side by side. Puckett took up the track up high, and that put Duval right into the back of Owens.
And pitting
Duval
is the
now bringing. He's starting it. Duval is going to start it. Ooh, came in hot there. Okay,
he almost didn't
down.
make it. Jeez.
That was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was almost the pulling of Kyle Larson at Homestead right there. He was coming in so hot. That made me nervous. But Duval, yeah, he's going to start it. I think it's going to create an avalanche. You're going to start to see a lot of guys start bringing it down. I mean, look there with the 3 and the 47. That's Jake O'Shea on the inside. He's on newer tires, and you can just see right there how big of a difference it is and how easy of a time he's going to have getting by these guys. So yeah, I think if you let Duval out by himself for too long and this thing cycles through on green, you're going to see him leading this race.
Yep, so you can see Animal House Custom teammates Dennis Puckett and Edward Peltz bringing it into the pits as we speak. Other drivers already making pit stops and coming back out onto the track. Joe Volpus making use of an early pit stop. Mark Dumas as well. Jose Medina, he is still trying to run, being shown a lap down, so he is still needing to make that second pit stop. Golly, he'd love a caution.
Yeah, he would. And I should know this, but are we paying out stage points this year?
No
We're not
points.
we're just going straight Winston Cup, which I like. So this is an unimportant part of the race in terms of points then, as this would have been the stage last year, but nope, not this year. As, oh my gosh, look at that, Shelton, and who is that on the outside of Shelton? This track is so fast, it's legitimately hard to see these cars when they go by.
That's either Angle or Kelly.
Yep, it's Kelly. So Kelly and Shelton going for it right now, and Ashay not able to get around them yet. And oh boy, these older tires are making it so it's really, really hard to race side by side right now. I mean, Gene, you either lose a lot of momentum or you just slide up into the guy above you.
Well, and because if you try to be a gentleman here and take the high line and let the quicker tires go by, you're going to lose multiple spots. We saw it happen earlier to Kyle Lynott. He went a little bit high. One guy went through that door, and then 3 more came with him. So being a gentleman might not pay off here today. Ooh, and look, there's Smorrell going to bring it down. Good for him.
Oof.
He gets down there cleanly, going to bring Zach Angle along with him.
I will be amazed if no one makes a mistake in these pits if we stay green. God, these entrances are not easy.
All right, here comes the 51 down pit road as well. So business is picking up down here in the pit road.
It's getting busy.
Wow, and he had to hit the brakes too. So guys coming in hot.
Yes, Jerry Rose bringing it in right now in that 51, doing a good job. Recovering from that points penalty of last week, I'd assume we're going to see David Medina bring it in pretty soon. Not going to want to give up too much control of this race, but probably focus more on his pro rivals here. Guys like Mills, Landry, Malarkey, and Jared Kelly are going to do what they do, not so much care about what the amateurs do.
Last lap, 30.99 by David Medina. You might wonder where the others are. How about freshly pitted Jax Duvall ran a 30.01. So almost a full second, 9/10 of a second, the difference between the fast guys who pitted and the current speed of Medina and Landry.
Nick Mills bringing it down in the pits. Very clean entrance by Nick Mills. Great job by him. I believe that might be Jared Kelly behind him, if I'm correct. That's Jared Kelly behind him. So Mills and Kelly bringing it down. And again, I'd assume we'd see Medina very soon. And God, look how uneven that exit is too, me and Gene. Like, you got to be so careful hitting here on green flag conditions on the entrance and the exit of this track. Speaking of the devil, here comes Medina bringing it in for his second pit stop of the day. Beautiful entrance by the 9.
Little update, we didn't get to see it on camera, but Joe Volpus, he spun coming out of the pits on that last pit stop. Joe Volpus down 11 spots, currently being shown in the 24th spot. So first victim that I know of the bumps coming out of pit road, that is going to be the number 11 of Joe Volpus.
Surprised that hasn't happened to more people, me and Gene. No judgment here. It is a brutal pit exit, and one of these green flag conditions, you got to take everything you can get. So you really got to be pretty uncomfortable in terms of how hard you go on the exit. As coming out of the pits right now is Medina, so let's see where he cycles through with our other leaders, Malarkey, Kyle, and Lynott. That's funny. Still yet to pit, as well as Swingle, Clausen. It looks like that is our last car that's still out, is Clausen. As there it is, just as I predicted, me and Gene, Medina losing the lead to Jax Duvall. Jax Duvall very much undercutting, so he's on a lot older tires than Medina is, but he's going to get to lead himself a few laps here once it cycles through if he's still in front of Medina.
Yeah, Justin Malarkey now choosing to bring it down. Ooh, Richard Swingle brought it around the outside of Malarkey, tapped the wall. That's either going to be speeding or unsafe pit entry for the privateer, the number 97 of Rich Swingle.
Yeah, Swingle, not the cleanest entrance right there. And Malarkey misses his box, mean Gene. He had to back up a little bit. So, yeah, that's going to lose him a couple positions. Not too terrible. And there is on screen right now David Medina, and he is still behind Duvall. So I believe Duvall should take the lead from Malarkey right here and get to lead his lap. So mission accomplished for the 84. Yeah, there it is. And let's see how long he is able to maintain this lead. Looks like a 2-second lead right now over David Medina. So really sizable. It just goes to show how important those fresh tires were later in that run.
Yeah, that short pit that Duvall did paying off right now as he finds himself up in the lead, going to make his way around the 77 of Vichet. Leading a lap, that's 5 points for Duvall. Got to be excited. Also led laps last week at Kentucky. So this amateur Pony Up Motorsports driver making good progress. And that is the second driver for Pony Up Motorsports to lead a lap today. So these guys playing that team strategy. Hopefully we won't see Jax Duvall fall victim the same way Medina did, pushing his pit stop. Duvall was such a short pit. Let's see how it affects him later in this run.
Yeah, and even Jose Medina, really right now, I mean, especially if we're getting a caution, doing a great job recovering from that decision. He's in 11th place right now. So Medina doing great. I'm assuming he's going to have to pit soon, and I'm assuming he's on quite older tires than his opponents around him. But nonetheless, stopping the bleeding overall and doing a really good job there. As gosh, look at Richard Swingle coming out of the pits right now. Looks like that car is going to flip. It's so crooked. It is so weird. Look at that.
He came in hard, hit that wall, did get a penalty on that pit stop for speeding, held in for 40 seconds. Unfortunate for the 97. Meanwhile, you asked about Jose Medina. Yeah, he was up in that position, but his lap time's full second and a half off what the other cars are doing. He's going to need a caution to come out as soon as possible before he goes back down another lap. He goes down another lap, one more rotation out of cycle with these other guys. It might be real hard to get back into this.
Yeah, this would be really the last opportunity for him to get that caution he needs, and especially with where he's running, it would really be a no harm, no foul situation. It's pretty much where he was running on natural tires before. And up front, battle for looks like third place right now is between between Landry and Smorl. Both of these guys have been so fast all day. I'm sorry, this is a battle for fourth place right here, and then you have Mills behind them, and a lot of just mixing up of the field. I think because of where you pit here, because you have Mills all the way back in sixth place right now. Medina's still in second. Duvall still in the lead. Buell out of nowhere in third. I'm wondering if he hasn't pit yet. And then, we got Landry, who was kind of in the back of the leaders group before, now leading these guys. And then behind them, Sarah and Dumont came out of nowhere. Zach Engel still up front, but a lot of movement through our field, and that's what green flag pit stops will give you sometimes.
David Buell, he did the quick pit as well. He came down on 66, so he actually quick pitted before everybody else on the track. We'll have to see now that he's put 20 laps onto these tires when that big fall off is going to occur. We see it around lap 21, 22 when that big drop appears. We'll see how long it'll be for David Buell to hold on. Buell currently being shown in the no number Toyota.
Yeah, thanks for that, Buell. The one thing that these guys
got... At least it's not a double. At least it's not a double number.
Very, very true. Like, it could always be much worse. But one thing that these guys, or really the only thing they got to do at this point, these early pitters like Duvall and Buell, is just get to where you can make it on one stop. Because you know that's what Medina and Landry and Smorl and Nick Mills, all the guys who are racing this straight up, that's their plan. They have one more pit stop and then they're done. So you just got to get that 84 to where you only have to pit it one more time and you'll be in the same level as all these guys. So you can still be in the top 5 when that happens, then that's an amazing strategy, an amazing win. As you see Smorl with a sketchy moment right there, and Nick Mills able to get around him.
Well, if I'm anybody on the track, I want to be David Medina. I pitted on lap 78, and I'm still holding on to the second place. You're going to have 7 laps fresher tires than Duvall ahead of you. You got 12 lap fresher tires than Buell. Other guys on lap 78, of course, you're going to see Landry, who just moved into third over Buell. So another guy in a great position. And then all the way back, look at Justin Malarkey in 14th. He pitted on lap 80, so he ran longer than anybody else with speed, and he finds himself in that position. Finally, Medina did bring it down on lap 85, and that's going to officially put him a lap down. First car being shown a lap down, Jose Medina.
Yeah, Medina just on the wrong side of strategy right now. We'll see. Really one more opportunity maybe to stop that, but we'll see how that works out for him. As the other Medina, David Medina, takes the lead from Jax Duvall and retakes control of this race. So good for David Medina, doing what we see him do week in and week out here in the BRL. Other one sticking out to me, Buell still in 7th place. We'll see where he cycles through. Man, Landry doing a great job getting through the field up to 3rd place here, and Mills has been able to catch up to him, and he's up to 4th. So these guys, we'll see if they have anything for Medina, who's now find themselves 4 seconds behind Medina. So really good job from David Medina, like you said. And he really is in the catbird seat right now. Great tire situation, right where he needs to be in terms of track position. And has the whole world in his hands right now, Mean Gene.
I got to wonder about Duvall. He might have fallen victim to that temptation. His short pit, no one was around him, and he was laying down his own lap times by himself. So maybe he was running a little quicker than he should have. It looks like he's had a big fall off after lap 19, lap 20 on this set of tires. And I'm just wondering, was he pushing a little bit too hard when he was by himself? Because those last 2 laps, he was legit a half a second slower than David Medina.
Wow. It's a weird thing when you run that undercut, right? Because you come back out on the track and you know in the back of your mind, I need to put down quick laps right now if this undercut's going to work, because I want to be up front when it cycles through. But you also need to balance it because you know that you're going to probably be on the wrong end of the tire situation later in the run. So you don't want to use up too much stuff early there and just get caught with your pants down around this time, lap 20. And it looks like that may have been what happened to Jax Duvall. Like you said, wasn't able to resist temptation. And it's hard when you're all by yourself on the track. You don't really have anyone to balance it around you or balance your speed. And yeah, that could happen.
Well, lots of good action still out on the track. We see side-by-side racing in multiple spots out there right now. Looking at Kevin Kyle, Tommy Fox, and Kyle Lynott. They're having a good time with each other. Kyle finally getting the speed back out of his car that he needs. Also, good run here today by Tommy Fox. He ran up in the top 15 earlier. Currently finds himself in 17th. The two guys in front of him, Lynott and Kyle, they're both down double digits from their qualifying. Makes you wonder if there's a little bit of strategy going on. I don't remember either of them having a bad pit stop, but they're a little bit off the base of where they started.
Yeah, probably our two biggest losers in terms of where they started right now and where they're running. And it is a weird thing, especially with Kevin Kyle. Great qualifying effort, and just he's starting to move forward now for the first time in the race, really. And this is not surprising. Kevin Kyle really likes these longer runs, especially when we start getting those green flag pit stops. A really clean driver who is good at not making the mistakes that you'll see others making these type of runs. But yeah, it is a weird thing. Lynott as well. We saw Lynott running top 5 early in this race, mixing it up with the pros. And now here he is in, it looks like 15th place, Kevin Kyle behind him. So we'll have to keep our eye on these guys and see if they are able to get their way back up front to join likes of Lynott's former teammate, Jax Duvall. And here is Duvall getting caught by Landry. This will be for second place here.
Good racing right here. Duvall trying to hold his line. A little bit slower than the other cars up in the top 5 is Jax Duvall. Landry going to look down below him. Jax just kind of fades up a little bit, crosses back down, gives up that position. I think Duvall here is just riding around hoping for that next fresh set of tires.
Yeah, Duvall just trying to get in that pit window to where he can make it to the end of this race. I'm assuming probably around lap 100, lap 105 is when you're going to see Duvall want to bring it down. I'm sure he's sick of that set of tires right there, and that undercut overall it still did work. He's running better than he was before. It's now just about the actual position on track and not being too far behind guys like Medina, guys like Landry, as he's already 4 seconds behind Medina. But Landry also, not by much, but slowly but surely, reeling in that 9 of Medina.
Meanwhile, up front, he is running hard. That's David Medina. He is getting ready to target some new cars to put a lap down. The speed of Medina today just cannot be denied. Up in the front, 3.5 second lead over Jason Landry now.
Finally got it. Medina got some Medina action right here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow, Joe Volpus going a lap down. Edward Peltz going a lap down as well. So Medina just laying down speed laps. Last lap 30.46. Landry a little bit quicker, but we're going to need to see that maintained speed if he'd like to catch up. Fastest lap on the track last time, though, Kyle Lynott with that 3:30.31. Fastest lead lap car.
And there's a pass by Michael Serra, or that's I'm forgetting his first name.
Oh, he's in the front.
Yeah, and that honestly probably will end up being the pass for the amateur lead, as Jax Duvall on much older tires than these two are. So they should be able to catch Duvall. I mean, it is a 5-6 second drive up to Duvall, so they're going to have to keep it clean and keep putting down these fast laps. But these guys racing like it is what it is, which is the race for the amateur win. So they are going for it. Sarah, Engel, and Shelton.
And you can see below them, the rookie, Zach Clausen. He's in that Blue Mountain Dew. He's got 5-lap faster tires, but it is a lap down, making things exciting for those guys battling for that amateur lead as we go back to the front and see Nick Mills now laying down laps while he's got Kelly and Smorrell directly behind him.
Yeah, there it is. And these guys are about to catch Jax Duvall, and that will complicate things just a little bit with Duvall with his older tires. But these three have not been able to get away from each other the past 50 or 60 laps. Smorrell, Kelly, and Mills. Wow, look at that. Great job using the top line there by Jared Kelly, able to complete that pass on Mills. That top, as the sun is coming down and the track is getting cooler, the top deeming to come in a little bit more. I think maybe because you can just really throttle it down through that corner and carry that momentum a little bit better than you could when the sun was out.
Ooh, a little bit of excitement there. You can see Smorl looking below Mills side by side now, bringing it into the turn. Mills looking for the speed and momentum of the outside lane, but he's not going to find it. Dirty Air slows him down. Smorl with good momentum looks to get by Kelly.
Wow.
Kelly, though, gave him a little bit of a block, and now Mills having to let off as they go into that turn. Good racing right here. Clean, fast racing, side by side. That's Chris Smorl and Jared Kelly.
What a run by Smorl out of 4 there to get to the inside of Kelly after completing the pass on Mills. Almost a 2-for-1 special there. And they're getting real close to Jax Duvall, who I think is going to want to bring it down the pits pretty soon, but he's probably going to have to let these guys go by them first. Oh boy, that's some solid hefty contact between Smorl and Kelly right there through the tri-oval. That tri-oval isn't straight, so it is easier said than done to get through there clean. And here they are. They are at Jax Duvall. This could get sketchy.
It's spicy. Meanwhile, business picking up down in the pits. Mark Dumont, the first car to decide to bring it down. Here's David Buell as well. So as soon as we came into the pit window, whoa, what a move by Kelly.
Wow, what a move by Kelly. He had about a millisecond to make that decision. Oh my God.
Worked out great now, because look at that. He traded places, and now Duvall side by side with Smorl. Here's Nick Mills. I'll make it 3 wide. I don't mind at all. Richard Swingle behind them watching.
Oh, man. Nick Mills just using that 84 as the wall right there. He just opened up that gap. I don't think the 84 of Jax Duvall is going to be too happy about that. As here they go down the back stretch, side by side. Nick Mills, Jax Duvall, as Jared Kelly trying to get away from these guys after that Mean Gene Money move of the race. That was insane by Jared Kelly. I loved it. And now Jax Duvall just trying to keep it straight. Nick Mills saying, get away from me, as he's trying to get back to the leaders in front of him, his fellow pro drivers. And here we are again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all pro drivers.
You can't get away from the Florida man. You can only delay it. You can't, but it's going to be inevitable. Jax Duvall on the outside in the 84, side by side with his buddy Rich Swingle. Swingle going to let off a little bit. And finally, Duvall free of that side draft, and he's got Nick Mills back in his sight. That is the battle for 5th and 6th. Swingle's on that same set of tires as they are. If anybody's actually in tire problem up there, I would say it's Duvall. Remember, he pitted on lap 71, everyone else on around 78. So he's got 7 laps slower tires, and you could see it from the lap times as well, a 31.29 versus Nick Mills' 30.88. Fastest lap that last time, though, David Medina, 30.54 as far as guys on this set of tires on the lead lap.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was trying to kind of avoid that Medina's just putting down heaters right now. But the battle of the 5s right now is pretty good between the 5 and the 55. No love lost between Jared Kelly and Chris Morrill, and they're putting on a show. I've seen these guys trade paint at least about 3 or 4 times, usually down the front and back stretch, which is pretty hilarious. But look at this, there it is again. Jared Kelly giving a few little boops as they go down the backstretch and trying to get him out of shape through 3 and 4. Jared Kelly doing a great job holding the bottom there, trying to hold on to that 3rd place position. But these guys have been mixing it up the past few laps.
Hard racing here. Folcom versus Ignition Point Racing as they battle for the 3rd place. They both want to be on that podium. Behind them, Nick Mills, Chris Morrill as well. Now we can see a little bit of an advantage by Kelly. Let's see if he can finally get away from that number 5. That 5 was running really hard. You got to wonder about the temperature on those tires.
Yeah, we've seen that from Chris Morrill pretty much all day, able to run up earlier in these runs, usually to about lap 20 in these runs, then falling off just a tiny bit. Not considerable, but certainly not the same type of speed that we're seeing out of guys like Landry, Kelly, and Medina. So we'll have to see how the 5 is able to do it here on this run. I believe this will be we'll have one more run here and one more chance to do something different than your opponents. And I think you want to bring it down pretty soon here, Mean Gene. I'm pretty surprised that Duvall hasn't yet. He's about to lose that AM lead to Shelton. Only 2 seconds now back to Shelton, and Shelton again with fresher tires by quite a bit.
So now Medina has lapped up to position number 15. He just got Jerry Rose. 14 cars on the lead lap. There are 4 cars in the pits that have made that 3rd pit stop, though, so they should cycle back to that lead lap, but looks like he is going to have pitted up legitimately, lapped cars up to that 18th spot. That's David Medina. Other cars putting down fast laps, though, we haven't talked about in a minute, was Kevin Kyle and Kyle Lynott. Both those guys running a little bit faster than all of the cars ahead of them. So whatever strategy that the 988 and the 31 were employing that had them a little further back in the field, starting to pay off, because now speed is being shown by both that 988 and that 31 car here late in this second second pit stop run.
Yeah, and this could allow someone like Kyle to maybe run this, run a little bit longer than his opponents if he wants to, and get those positions later in the run as they start to fall off. That'll be completely up to him. A lot of guys now starting to bring it down the pits. Tommy Fox has pit. I believe we'll probably see more amateur drivers bring it down soon. Oh my gosh, what is going on here with Jared Kelly and Sporle? These guys,
they're not done. They're not done. I'm faster. Let me go by.
Seriously, it looks like this time Sporle's like, you know what? I'm over it. And he's going to go pit. And here it comes. Here's the first of our leaders, of our guys who I think truly have a chance to win this race. Bring it down. And depending on how far Medina wants to run here, this could get Sporle the lead, but he was all the way about 10 seconds back to Medina. So it's going to have to take a pretty long run from that 9 for this to super matter for the win here. But I like coming in early. With only 30 to go here.
Why not? Why not? Especially if you're battling for position, do that short pit, get track position over the other drivers. I'm looking up at this top of the stands right now, and I'm wondering who might stay out a little bit longer than they would want to, just for the opportunity to get the 5 points. You know, I'm looking like would Brandon Shelton do it? Would a Kevin Kyle? Would a Kyle Lynott? How about Joseph Yusnikas, the rookie? He's in 9th on this run right now. He stayed on the lead lap pretty consistently. Maybe he'd push it just a little bit further to get the 5 points. Again, Winston Cup style points, gonna change your strategy a little bit, but this is awful late in the run to throw away your race for 5 points.
Exactly. Like if you're Yusnikas, maybe, but if you're someone like Shelton, no way, because you're looking at an amateur win right now. You could absolutely win this race in your class. So don't give that up trying to lead a lap, right? So I think Shelton, will probably keep it simple, as it looks like this will be David Medina's time to bring it down. And yes, this is the rest of the field's last opportunity to win, and no, bad news for them. Perfect entry for the 9.
Yeah, always David Medina going to be one of your cleanest pit guys coming in and out. Down there in the pit area. That's going to let Jared Kelly take over the lead. Kelly now getting his opportunity to be shown up at the front. Jake Ashea directly in front of him. Ashea on fresher tires should not come into the equation of Jared Kelly. So we're gonna rotate around position. Kyle Lynott and Kevin Kyle still on the track, as is Joseph Yusnikas. So we're taking a peek to see which one of those guys going to do it. Yeah, Duval as well. That is a surprise. Here comes Duval now. Oh my, look at him on the inside of Peltz.
Whoa! God, that was close. What a long run for Duval. God, he got everything out of those tires. So impressive job by Jax Duval to hold on the track position that he did.
And he's going to be happy now coming back out on lap 117. So he'll have slightly fresher tires than drivers like Mills and Shelton, who pitted right before them, and as well as like a David Buell, who came in on 103. Up front, Jared Kelly continuing to lay down laps, probably counting to see just how far he can go and then have great tires for the final stage, the final leg of this race. He's got a fast Medina behind him, though. Going to have to watch him drive right on by.
Jeez.
And look at that. What you just showed there a minute ago, Kyle Lynott, he caught up to Kevin Kyle. So those two guys showing so much speed. And now you can see they're still with each other. They're running there with Malarkey, Kelly coming up into that right ahead of them as well. So those two guys really having a great run there at the end of this second set of tires.
And there is Jared Kelly and Kyle Lynott going to bring it down for their final set of tires.
Kevin Kyle led a lap. I knew it. I knew one of those guys were going to do it.
The VRN car, and that's also very cool that Brent even mentioned. Here we are on VRN, me and Gene. My first time on this network with VRL, so very excited to be here on VRN with the Bonfire Race League. Super honored to be covering it, and look at that. They're leading laps.
Yep, Kevin Kyle out there leading it. Now, here's another one you got to wonder. Jerry Rose, the rookie, in second. Will he leave it out there trying to get him a lap?
That'll help with that 30-point penalty. It'll bring it down to 25. So that's good.
Oh, my word. It looks like Kevin Kyle pitted 4 laps after him. No.
Jerry Rose bringing it down this time. He's had a fantastic race today. Running in 12th place earlier. Jerry Rose really doing a good job to put that penalty behind him and just go out and do what he can control, right? And that's exactly what he's done today. And he's doing a fantastic job as we see Kelly back on the track with those fresh tires. I was surprised he stayed out as long as he did, but we'll see if he gets any, if he's rewarded for that on the tail end of this run. As now Medina and Landry essentially going to be the leaders over this race once Kevin Kyle brings it down, which he inevitably will have to. And it's still at 4 seconds, so great job by Medina to maintain that pretty healthy lead.
All right, I'm going to look for foolishness out there, and look at Justin Malarkey, 9.9 second pit time. Is that 2 tires?
I believe so.
Well, it looks like somebody might be up to no good. Look at Kyle Lynott, 10.10 second pit time. Makes you wonder. Yeah, makes you wonder what they're doing. They're up to no good.
They are, and Malarkey's losing track position already as Smorl gets by him, so maybe that 2 tire is not the call.
Yeah, we'll have to find out as this thing continues. We're on lap 122, scheduled for 145 here today, and the Folcom or Leave 'em 220 brought to you live by Animal House Customs. If you have embroidery needs, give Ricky a call. He can take care of that. Hats, shirts, jackets, and patches. Animal House Customs. They can scratch your itch. Also brought to you by the Swanley Golf Association. Thanks to the good men and women across the pond playing links with the Swanley Golf Association.
And then we also had a little bit of mixing of the order among our amateur race as Buell has taken the lead with Sarah now in second place to him when you were considering that class. And that is the product of the short pit by both of those 2 guys pitting before the 84 Duvall. Now Duvall on those fresher tires going to try to reel those guys in, but Buell doing everything he has to take home that amateur trophy right now.
Well, there's more foolishness. Jerry Rose came out of the pits and he hit those bumps and spun his stuff as well. So another victim, Joe Volpus can. Joe Volpus actually going to take that position back over. Volpus being shown in 17th was running back in 18th. So hey, I guess the pits made it even.
With a huge smile on his face, thinking, "Oh, well, it wasn't just me."
That's right. Now you know what it feels like, knucklehead.
Yep.
Up front though, look at the gap, 3 seconds. Behind them, Landry and Smorl trying to get back within each other. 0.6 of a second. Malarkey, last lap 29.8. Last lap 30.05. So already 0.2 of a second off from the others is Justin Malarkey. That pit strategy might come back and bite him. Kyle Lynott not having quite that problem. A 29.7 by Kyle Lynott on his 2 tire change. So the 988 making good use of the quick pit by doubling down and giving quick laps as well.
Yeah, and you saw a healthy hit from Chris Smorl on corner entry, actually going to 1 there, and then also following the commander off the cliff was Malarkey slapping the wall as well. So look out for that as we only have 19 to go, and you know Medina wants to keep this thing clean. But beyond that, I also want to give a shout out to David Brenner over in the 22. We have not talked a lot about the 22 today. Brenner showing his face in the top 10, I think for the first time really today for an extended period of time. But someone that we expect to be a playoff driver here in the pro division and also not a playoff driver, a championship contender. We don't do playoffs here. We're doing it right. Those are stupid. But Brenner, really someone that I expected to see a little bit more speed out of today, but here he is later in this race running about as well as you expected over here in 10th place. And oh my goodness, look at this with Nick Mills and Jared Kelly. Wherever we see Jared Kelly his last 20 laps, there's been drama.
They're not done with each other yet. Add Ricky Mandela in there. Remember, Mandela part of that explosion. The only caution we saw today when
how's that car okay?
Jaron Valley had contact with Landry. Medina came in and destroyed it with the old T-bone activity. But ahead of him, you can see there the 55 making a great race with Nick Mills. That, of course, is for the 7th position. You can see Duvall trying to sneak up now in 9th. that last lap, Duval, even though he has fresher tires than the rest of the field, yet to get an advantage on his speeds. So that's somebody we're going to watch. Duval currently in the 9th. When will the tires fall off of the cars in front of him? Only 16 laps remaining, so he better start working if that Florida man wants to jump up ahead of that 9th place position.
Yeah, and Duval really just needs to focus in on 2 cars right now, and that's Sarah and Buell. As Sarah has actually gotten by Buell and taken the lead of the amateur race. So Sarah, our new leader, looking to take home his first amateur win right now. So we'll see if he's able to. He's only got about 1.5 seconds over Duval, but he is driving away from Buell. Buell really falling off right now. Really falling off. It really does seem like at a certain point in this run, you just fall off an absolute cliff, me and Gene.
Yeah, David Buell, he came down and pitted on lap 187, just a little bit ahead of lap 103. So, 10 laps ahead of Smorl and those guys, 14 laps ahead of Duval. So, going to be interesting to see what happens when Duval, with 14 lap fresher tires, gets near him. And you can see right away, he's like, "Hey, man, bye, man."
Yep, blowing his doors off. Man, these passes have been coming easy the longer these green flag runs have been going on and the more mixed up the strategies have gotten throughout the field. These passes are coming a lot easier to these guys. A lot of different speeds going on here. As you see right now, Sarah having Kelly go by him, and it looks like Mills will probably be able to get him as well, and that is going to put Sarah and Duval bumper to bumper, and that'll be the race for the amateur win.
Guys going at it really hard right here. Good racing action there by the 27 as Sarah going to make his way. Mills not ready to give up, trying to find speed on that outside lane. 15 cars on the lead lap. Right now, Kevin Kyle being shown as the last car on the lead lap. He wants to keep it that way, but hey, Medina, he's chasing him down with his 3-second lead over Landry. Landry actually making up a little bit of time, but with the 3-second gap, that's going to be super tough to overcome. Only 12 laps left to go.
Oh, yeah, he's getting something miraculous to happen to be able to have any shot at Medina within these next 12 laps. But Sarah and Duval, I mean, there we go. It's about to be our race for the amateur win. And Sarah right there, he spent a little bit too much time racing Nick Mills. That's not who you're racing. You're racing for a win, and it's against Jackson Duval. You should have just let him go, and he should have started hitting his marks a little bit earlier. Gave up a little bit of time to Jackson Duval there. We'll see if Duval's able to take advantage of that. There's no one in between them now. It's just between these two guys for the amateur win. But Kyle Lynott, a pro driver, not caring about that, caring about his race, wanting to get by both these guys. And then behind him, another AM driver of Shelton, who I actually had picked to win this thing in the AM class. I thought he had the fastest car, so that too wants to get past both these guys.
Yeah, remember Duval on the newest tires. Lynott behind them. He did took 2 laps afterward, but he is on a 2-tire set. Duval makes the move on Sarah. Sarah side by side with Kyle Lynott. Little side drafting going on between the two racers there. That pass is going to put Duval up into 7th place, currently being shown as the top listed amateur. Again, Lynott, 2 lap fresher tires, but 2 of those tires were taken back on 2 pit stops ago.
Yeah, so 2 of those tires have almost 100 laps on them. Those things are ancient. And you see here, Shelton's going to want to try to get past Sarah as quick as he can to potentially have a shot at Duval. And Duval trying to set his sights and get away from this group as quick as he can. Turn that 7th place into a 1st place for him in his amateur class.
Racing here. Medina, he's only 1 lap down. Jose Medina, he's gotten it only 1 lap down into 21st. So that guy's been playing triage all day long. Up front, though, Kevin Kyle, now the 15th car, last car in the lead lap, trying to chase down Tommy Fox and Zach Engel. All those cars in front of Kevin Kyle would theoretically be for position. I'm pointing out Kevin Kyle because, remember, he and Lynott came in at the same time. They were running on the same strategy. The only difference was Kyle went with 4 tires, whereas Lynott went with 2. Kyle on 4 tires finds himself in 15th. Ahead of him, Lynott, he took the 2, and he is up in 8th. So we thought 2 tires wasn't the way to go looking at the progress of Malarkey, but now Malarkey in 4th and Lynott in 8th. I think that was the move.
Yeah, it really did work out. A lot of these guys with these different strategies, due to the nature of this race and staying green for so long, it's all just kind of evened out and worked itself out as long as you were able to stay out of trouble and just put down those fast laps while you were on track. So good for Jose Medina and a lot of these other guys who have been running inverse strategies like Kevin Kyle as well. I mean, if you're someone like Jose Medina as well, he did get to lead a lap to do that whole strategy that's put him off everything. So that 21st, you can, I guess, convince yourself is the 16th with those bonus points. So good for him. Like we said so many times today, this is a Winston Cup format now. So you're really just trying to get those points where you can and finish all the races the best you can. A lot of guys putting together a great race today. I've mentioned Gerald Rose a few times. Even with that spin exiting the pits, he's up to 18th, so he's doing a great job. As here we see Duvall racing Nick Mills. This is for the 6th place. Duvall still trying to get away from Shelton and guarantee that AM win. Needs to balance his priorities here as he gets to the inside of the 20.
Can you imagine the 4-letter colorful metaphors Duvall would use if his crew chief came on and said, "Hey, bud, you're not racing him. We're going for the amateur win." I think Duvall would lose his brain.
He's a hard guy to calm down in situations like this, as you see Duvall working through the field with a purpose right now, doing a great job as they go around that lap car, but making the pass on Nick Mills and doing it pretty quickly through 1 and 2 there. Great job by Duvall. Only 4 laps to go for our overall leader, Dave Medina. I mean, he didn't lead any laps last week, but he made up for it this week.
Well, I tell you what, we do an interview with him. I can imagine he's going to bring a nutcracker and be pointing at me to come on over and have a talk after that foolishness we gave him last week. I was just kidding, David.
It's a joke.
Put down the nutcracker. I was just kidding. David Medina, though, 4.5-second lead. It's slowly growing. You can see 0.3 of a second faster than Landry the last couple of laps. Medina hitting his mark, showing why he is a 3-time defending and reigning champion here in the Bonfire Premier Cup League. This guy just being a classy driver right now. Classy Fred Blassie has nothing on you.
Yeah, he is just putting down those laps, hitting his marks, doing the same stuff we saw that 9 car do all season last year. And this is going to be a special one too, the Fokum or Leave 'em 200 or 220, I'm sorry. And that means that this is a title sponsor race for that Nina Medina. Always really, really special to win your title sponsor races.
Yeah, just put it down. Chris Morrow, also a great run for Fokum here today. Brandon Shelton, Kevin Kyle, good running all the way around as all 4 of the Fokum drivers find themselves up into the top 12. And this is your final lap as we see Medina bringing it around, looking strong, leading them down into the back stretch.
Yep, white flag in the air. A healthy lead for the 9 of Jose Medina over last week's winner of Jason Landry. Over 5 seconds, so he can just cruise around 3 and 4. 14 seconds behind him is Jax Duvall, who's leading our amateur race right now. We will see him cross the checkered flag about half a lap after this 9 does. But our defending champion, picking up where he left off, Dave Medina wins it at Charlotte here in round 2 at the Bonfire Race League. And now getting ready to cross the line is the 84 of Jax Duvall, our amateur leader right now. He has been up front all race and done a great job. And actually, we're seeing Kevin Kyle and David Brenner. I was afraid of some drum. And there's the winner. Jax Duvall wins the amateur class. And here goes Kyle Brenner. And oh man, it's never good when we have this contact beating and banging Brenner and Kyle. And Kyle gets the position and does some lawn mowing for Brenner in the process. I'm sure Brenner is extremely happy about that.
Oh, they touched. When they touch, it's electricity. Kevin Kyle, David Brenner there at the finish. Looks like I got Kyle being shown at 11th. What do you got?
What? Oh, wow. I think I do too, actually. Let's take a look. Yeah. These iRacing guys have no idea what they're doing. But Kevin Kyle gets Brenner for 12th is what I have. Or for 11th is what I have, actually. Kyle Lynott actually all the way up in 8th place in this one. So great run by Kyle Lynott.
Yeah,
to
2 tires, the way to go. Look at Malarkey finishing up in 4th on that 2-tire strategy, and Kyle Lynott going to finish there in 8th. So smart move by the pit crews.
I think who has to be the most disappointed right now, it has to be Nick Mills. That 20 had so much speed all day, only to finish 7th place in this race.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Nick there. Still getting his legs back under him here with taking last year off, running part-time. The next-gen cars, of course, very tough. The things get loose. That rear end will come around on you so quickly. But today, David Medina, I just can't say enough about what this guy did. Rode around in the beginning of the race, picking his spots, seeing what everybody else was going to do. Used excellent pit maneuvering, hit all of his marks, comes out on top. And beating those guys, Landry, Smorl, Malarkey, Kelly, those guys fast all day.
Yeah, really. I mean, Dave Medina you really just like I say every week with that guy, you just can't you can't make him do anything. You can't make him go faster than he wants to. You can't make him burn stuff up. He just runs his own pace. And oftentimes, when these races stay green like they did today, that's what happens. Dave Medina wins by 5 seconds. So great job by the defending champion. But Jason Landry, first and second in our first 2 races this year. So that is funny between him and Medina. They've both done that now. So they're going to be right up there in points together. It's going to be a matter of bonus points being the only thing separating them now. Chris Smorl in 3rd. Justin Malarkey finishing 4th. Great job by him. Jared Kelly 5th. Jax Duvall, the amateur winner, over in 6th. 7th place, Nick Mills. 8th place, Kyle Lynott. Brandon Shelton will take 9th in the race and 2nd in the amateur class, and Michael Sarah will round out the amateur podium and 10th place of this race.
Great racing here today at the Folker Relievum 220. And guess what? I got a present for you, Zach.
Oh, do you?
4-time, not 3-time, my mistake, 4-time champion and reigning champion, David Medina.
Yes, sir.
Mr. 4-time. Great job today, Medina. Really just your stereotypical textbook Dave Medina dominance race where you come out of nowhere, it seems, and have the tires for it and are able to control the second half of the race. So take me through it today. And were you worried at all about that qualifying effort, or were you just knew just to control this thing or control your speed and you'd be there in the end?
Yeah, it was definitely not my best qualifying efforts, so it kind of put me to the back. But I just had to make sure I kept that mindset of taking care of the tires and trying to keep the car in clean air as much as possible. And really was just trying to be patient, waiting for things to kind of settle out car position wise. I didn't want to force anything 3 wide or anything like that too early on. So just had to really be patient on it and let the track come to me.
Yeah, I mean, you did a fantastic job of that. We gave you a hard time about not leading any laps last week because that's such a rare occurrence. But this week you made up for it, and here you are, our defending champion. So how are you feeling overall about this season, and how do you feel about the new points format?
Yeah, it's always good to finally get the win in the season. Last week I can't tell you how many times I laughed when I heard you guys talk about the not leading a lap. So definitely it's a lot of fun to hear that stuff, and it's a little bit of motivation for this race here. But the points format's really going to be different. Still kind of figuring out how all that's going to shake out, and it's really going to be about being consistent. Finishing. I think you mentioned it in the broadcast about finishing consistently in that top 5 position and maximizing points when you can, and not trying to force it.
Yeah, it really is a lot more pure racing. I mean, I don't think it will matter for you. Any format, we will be watching you race for a championship later in the season, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially with a league like this where we're seeing so much parity. Last question for you, besides anyone you want to give a shout out to, is how do you also like the new Pro and Am format? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I like it. I really do like what Kevin and Jared have done, with this league and kind of put the pro and am, out there. It's giving everybody, something to race for, and I think that's outstanding. So great group of guys in this league, and seeing the growth in it, it's definitely drawing a lot of new drivers in. So it's good to see that, and it's good to see a lot of good clean driving going on.
Yeah, it really is cool. It's everyone has a chance at a win essentially, and it's a format I'm a big fan of as well. Great job today, man. Always a pleasure watching you do your thing on Sundays. And awesome to see that you are picking up where you left off next season. Or, I'm sorry, last season. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you get out of here and enjoy your Sunday?
Yeah, it's great to be able to sponsor this race here, and thanks to all the men and women in the military that have served or are currently serving, just to sponsor this race and put on a show for them. But want to thank all of them for what they do and allowing us to have the freedom to do what we're doing and have this fun on a Sunday morning. So thank you all, to all of you military people. Really greatly appreciate all of you. And then want to give a shout out to all my teammates. Had a pretty good, strong run by all the teammates. So good points today by our Fulcrum team. And admin guys, again, they're doing a phenomenal job with this league. So appreciate all the efforts and the work that they put into, grow this league and continue to make it competitive. So thanks to all of them. And then last but not least, I want to thank you guys for awesome broadcasts you guys do every week. And looking forward to seeing what you guys put on for next week.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate the kind words and class act over there. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
Man, Mean Gene, he folked him and he left him today.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I try my best. And that is our updated standings. And just as I assumed, looks like Landry is going to maintain the lead of the championship standings right now. And that is with those bonus points for leading that lap last week, while Medina was not able to. So there you go. That's what those 5 points can do for you. Behind him, in third is Jared Kelly, fourth, Chris Smorrell, and fifth, Nick Mills. So no surprise there who we're seeing run things over on the pro side.
We look down at the bottom. Joe Volpus, David Owens. Volpus with the bad run here today, spinning out of the pits. David Owens, of course, will be the beneficiary of the 2 drop races. Not going to be surprised that Joe Volpus would also use today's results as a drop. And Joey, come back.
Joey, I know, I was about to say that.
Guy won the finale last year. He won that race. Let's see Joey come back.
I know. Come on, get back over here, Stires. We miss you. And here is our AM standings. I just want to say Blake Shelton. That's not Blake Shelton. Brandon Shelton doing a great job taking the lead of the AM standings. We saw him up front a lot today, finishing in third place in the AM race and 10th overall or 9th overall, I believe. 9th and second in the AM standings. I'm sorry. And then in third was Sarah in 10th overall. So he's now in second place of those standings. Then today's winner of the AM race in third now of Jax Duvall. Then we have Thomas Perrine and Tommy Fox over in fifth. So really, really tight, though, if you look at the points themselves. You see Engel and DeMont there, even Medina not far behind. So a ton to race for over there in that amateur class.
Yep, that is a good look there. And remember, of course, it'll be interesting at the end of the year when they drop their 2 worst finishes.
Yeah,
So,
it's going to really change when that drop race takes effect.
There'll be a big movement of what happens in those points. And there is your championship standings. Of course, you got the Fulcrum with that great race today. Gulf Coast missing David Owens, so that is going to put them behind the 8 ball just a little bit. Ignition Point Racing missing Ferdiani today, but the strong finishes of Landry and Kelly helping them out away from Gibbs and Hendricks and Penske. Looking at the rest of the teams, Pony Up Racing powered by Duval today, 7 Motorsports, Animal House Customs, Euro Speed Racing. So interesting to see. How about how close Pony Up got to Ignition Point? I think depending on what Duval can do and Buddy Sully as well, I think having that those 2 extra drivers will help them. But it's kind of like looking at F1, right? Like you've got the 3 big ones, and then everybody else is just trying to catch up.
For sure. We got some stacked teams out here this year. So it's going to be tough for anyone to compete with those top 3. But hey, you never know. And these are overall standings. This combines our pro and AM class. So kind of a third one to go for here. And overall, unsurprisingly, still led by Landry and Medina. Very close to one another. You don't see an AM driver until 6th of Brandon Shelton, but still impressive from Brandon Shelton to be out there with the pros and mixing it up in the top 10 of the points, doing a great job so far this season and showing why this pro and AM is still a great idea. But any given week, you could see a pro driver or an AM driver take over the overall.
Yeah, and looking at that, though, that's why I made mention of his name. There was 3 guys I mentioned at the beginning that are amateurs that we might see make a little bump. Of course, Brandon Shelton, as you just mentioned, Jax Duvall, and Thomas Pierce. Pierce not finishing the race today. He had to leave a little bit early, so he did a start and park. And Michael Sarah also kind of knocking on that door. He's like, hey, man, don't forget about me. My bubble gum might not taste good, but my driving does.
For sure. Michael Sarah absolutely showing a lot of strength earlier this year. He's been fun to watch. And yeah, we definitely are starting to see kind of like a big 3 form over in the amateur class.
Yeah, going to be fun to see how that develops. And really going to be also interesting to see how exactly our admins are going to figure that out. The title of a pro is lovely. You want to be recognized for your abilities out there. But, it's kind of nice to sit in AAA for one more year to get a ring.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a balancing act, right?
Yeah, and there's no hardcore definition of what's going to happen. But so far, what we've seen from our league officials is a really good interpretation and of what the rules say, and to keep it in the spirit of competition. And I think that's what we're going to see moving forward from Kevin Kyle, from Jared Kelly, and of course league owner Dennis Puckett as well. All these guys trying to maintain some of the best racing and sportsmanship that you're going to see here on the iRacing on the Vortex Racing Network.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited that we're going to be doing it all here on the Vortex Racing Network. So excited to have Bonfire Race League over on this network now. We'll be, MRL will be joining them next season. We'll be doing our championship there tomorrow. Me and Gene excited for that. But it's going to be so much fun. But yeah, this is going to be an awesome season. This new points format, the Winston Cup standings, so much better in my opinion, and really a good fit for this league specifically. So I'm really, really excited to see that. And then the Pro-Am, an even better call. So yeah, Puckett, Kelly, and Kyle doing an incredible job with this league, making it better year after year, handing out some hefty penalties, but also doing a great job keeping this league with high integrity racing. I mean, I can't say also how crazy it is to do a 145 lap race around Charlotte Motor Speedway with 29 cars and have one caution. That is so crazy.
Yeah, it's just a statement, a testament to the competitive level of the league as well as the skill level to see these guys race side by side. I mean, we saw 3 wide. We saw, hints of a 4 wide multiple times. We saw cars on different tires, different speeds, and yet the awareness of these fellas to make their way around. And also, how about adding the 3 new rookies today and not having big issues? Sometimes when you get a rookie come in the league, they're not used to the field, but the guys today really did a good job of running their own race, racing the track, and not becoming a big issue. Now, of course, you could say, well, what about what happened with Valley at the beginning? And I would tell you, well, Valley was winning.
Yeah, he was winning the race.
And he was winning the race. Yeah. So that contact, that straight racing incident, those things are going to happen.
Yeah, different things happen up front, especially like someone like Valley, new to the league. It's going to happen racing up front with the fastest guys in this league.
Led 21 laps. I mean, it wasn't an accident. He was there.
That's a big race for him, and that's just going to make him hungrier for next week. I'm excited to see what Valley's going to have for the rest of this season. Clearly a force to be reckoned with, and definitely got his name out there today and showed everyone what he can do. And so, I mean, it didn't get the finish he wanted, not even close to it, and not the one he deserved, but did what he had to do in terms of his standing in this league. And also, that's going to happen. It's inevitable when you're new to these leagues, you're racing up front. So get out of the way now and go out there and have a good season for the rest of the year.
And how good is he going to be for that Animal House Custom team? Again, he's not an official member, but just to add another fast guy to your stable is going to help you, because you're going to get that input. So I think that's going to help Animal House moving forward as well, just having that guy there to help them.
Yeah, so incredibly valuable to have an extra guy in your team, especially somebody that quick who can give you that data and running somewhere else in the field too, right? It's so helpful to have your teammates running front, middle, and back of the field.
What's happening in the front, Bobby? What's going on up there?
Exactly. I love having my guys on my team. I can be like, hey guys, should I pit or is it pretty bad back there? I'm like,
I can tell you what's happening back here in 27th. What are you doing?
Exactly. And then usually it's a 3 wide back here. It's like, okay, never mind. But yeah, it's always crazier back there, and it's always good to have someone back there to keep an eye on it for you.
Well, every restart, it was wild today for the 19th and back. Really good race.
Oh, yeah. They were 3 wide for so many rows, and they did a great job keeping it clean and putting on a show for us fans here. It's going to be another great season here in the BRL. I'm so excited to be here again, and thank you to Kevin, Kyle, and everyone for having me. And it was awesome to kick off my season here with you, me and Gene. Always a pleasure being in the booth with you. Any final thoughts before we go watch some Indy 500 and some Coke 600?
Well, all I can say is I hope my good friend Matty Ice did not place a bet on Kyle Larson to win, because every time he does, and I got him in my NASCAR fantasy lineup today. So please, Matty, do not jinx it. From the track, though, I want to compliment the whole league. Great racing today. 2 wide, 3 wide. Everybody holding on. We saw some bumping, we saw some rubbing, and people were able to keep those cars and those wheels on the track. Good stuff. Can't wait to see what happens as we move forward next week.
Well, good thing you didn't put a bet on Larson in the Indy 500 because my boy's just running in 22nd doing a whole lot of nothing right now, Gene.
He's chilling, dude. He's just chilling.
Yep. He's just waiting, David Medina style.
Waiting.
We'll see him eventually.
Yeah, he's waiting. Wait.
We'll see him eventually. And then we have those cheaters at Penske working through the field. Screw those guys.
Got him.
Yep. But yeah, another amazing race in the BRL. I was sad to miss the season opener last week, but had a great time watching the race. And Buddy Sully and me and Gene did an incredible job breaking down the new rules that we are dealing with this year, and also calling a great race at Kentucky with an awesome winner. And it's going to be a lot of the same this year in terms of who we're going to see up front between Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Christopher Smorrell, Dave Medina, Justin Malarkey, and I'm excited about that. I mean, and we also have some newcomers like Nick Mills. We just talked about Valley. I can't wait to see what he can do. And we have also our mainstays in the AM class like Jack Staball, Shelton, Sarah, Jose Medina, and guys that are showing great improvement like Zach Engel, Jerry Rose, Tommy Fox. So just tons and tons of excitement around this league right now. 13th season, and man, it really just does go to show why this league has been around for so long and why it's such a special place to race. Again, 29 drivers, 1 caution, 145 laps here around Charlotte. What a pleasure it's been. Thank you to everyone who was a part of this race here today and a part of this broadcast. Thank you to our sponsors over at Animal House Customs. What's our new golf one? I call it again because I forgot it as well, me and Gene.
What? You can't. You cannot.
I don't golf. I don't golf.
No, you are not allowed to forget our boys over at the Swanley Golf Association.
Swan, like I love that name too. So shout out to them. All our new sponsors this year, Fokum Racing as well for sponsoring this race, the Fokum Relievum 220. Very excited to have a title sponsor in every race this season and bring on tons of new and exciting sponsors to bring some value as well over to you guys at home watching. We're gonna have some awesome discount codes. I know the Daily Drivers Inc. one will be doing some giveaways. So I'm pumped to see what that's like this year. But that's going to be it for me. And also thank you to our producer, Jared Kelly, and everybody who makes these broadcasts possible. All the admins over on the BRL side, Kevin Kyle, Puckett, Dennis Puckett, and Jared Kelly as well over there. And all the incredible drivers who showed up today and put on a show. It was a pleasure. And thank you all for joining us. And we will see you next Sunday over here in the Bonfire Race League on Vortex Racing Network.